Brisbane players having a real go at Malloy.
Well, it's not his fault, it's the umpire for making a stupid decision.
Malloy, well, getting some treatment on the way off. Of course, a former Lion who left last year and missed, obviously, their premiership. Now with the Magpies, he got the reprieve during the week. What do you make of that first half?
Well, it was, as we thought, could be very tight as we still watch all this talk with the umpires. But Collingwood were brave. Brisbane have wasted opportunities, there's no doubt. 35-19 inside 50s. They just haven't been as clean. But gee, Collingwood have been gallant.
Malcolm, in that second quarter, Brisbane had 12 scoring shots to Collingwood's 3, and yet the game is still well and truly alive.
Half-time in the grand final of 2002, Brisbane lead Collingwood by 8 points.
Half-time in the 2002 grand final. The Magpies 8 points behind, but they would not be disappointed with their efforts in the first half. It was an amazing struggle in really tough conditions for both sides. You can see the kicking at goal. The Lions in front, 4-12-36 to 4-4-28. And so the margin is 8 points. And we're looking at the Brisbane Lions. And Malcolm Blight, they had their troubles, particularly with the injury early to Beau McDonald.
Well, they did indeed, and this is so innocuous, isn't it? I mean, I don't believe they took him in unfit. I don't think that could happen. It just might have popped him. And there we see Damien Burke, the ruck coach, talking to Clark Keating at quarter time, giving him some instructions. He's got a big day now, hasn't he?
He has, and we believe an ambulance was called because they couldn't get the shoulder back in place to the dislocated shoulder. So
Ouch.
We won't see McDonald for the rest of the day. Clark Keating obviously then has the big role.
And look, he's been very good at doing that, getting the ball going forward. I thought McKee was OK early, got in front of him, but now Clark Keating's really jumping, and Darryl White gave him that little rest, that opportunity to have a rest.
Well, the Lions, they haven't really been themselves, have they? It hasn't been the normal... I mean, the scoreboard shows that. We know it's wet, but, gee, they had some chances and they haven't been able to make the most of them. No. And it's shown them... they attacked Voss very hard, didn't they, in that class?
It wasn't... he did too. He attacked the ball. I mean, that was just good footy, and I think it just might have winded him. And here we see uncharacteristic error there from Jason Ackermanis, just kicking the ball over the boundary line on the full.
Justin Lepich, such an important player, and we saw tactics used by Collingwood earlier to try and keep him out of the play, but he has managed to have some sort of influence, and I guess it'll be vital in the second half. Yeah,
doesn't he come at the ball hard? I think these are the best two spoiling sides from the fence in the competition, and that's probably why they're here today. Have a look at that. I mean, that is just brilliant.
And you talked about their spoiling, but also their tackling today. It's been a feature. Earlier at one stage, the Magpies tackling on Brisbane. It was, I think, one stage where they were double as in the tackle count.
Yes, they were. And Brisbane normally a very good tackling side, but once again, this is the Malthouse touch, isn't it? Just pressurising, making players earn a kick.
Well, that's the Lions. They lead by 8 at the moment at half-time. You see Luke Power, who started in defence. That was a big surprise. Here's the match stats at half-time. What do you make of them, Malcolm?
Well, they're so close, just the touches, the kicks, marks and handles. There's very little in it. Contested possessions, but we go right down the bottom and we see the centre breaks. Brisbane 7-1. Now, that's a thrashing in anyone's language, and that means you get a lot more inside 50s, and there they are, 35-19. So, it's been a terrific struggle, the first half.
Let's get the latest on the Brisbane injuries from Gerard Waitley.
Well, Hutto, they certainly do have their concerns. You can add to the list Simon Black, who did hobble off the ground at the end of that half-time break. He was involved in a clash of knees and has a pretty nasty bruise rising on his left knee. He will continue, but he won't be 100% in being able to stride out. Beau McDonald is on his way to hospital. Martin Pike, he has the groin injury. There's significant doubt down here about how much more of the game he'll be able to play. So you add into the extra niggles that they will have, and those are certainly 3 serious concerns for them, Hutto.
Thanks, Jared. Well, last year, Malcolm, they came out after half-time full of running. It'd be tough for them to do that today. We'll take a break, come back and have a look at Collingwood. Robert Walls and Stephen Quartermain to join us. Half-time in the grand final, and it's the Lions leading by 8.
Well, we saw Trent Croad from the Fremantle Dockers win the goal-kicking competition. The grand final sprint went to the man in the Sydney Swan jumper. Jared Crouch just got home in what was a great feature of Grand Final Day 2002. It is a tight battle in the real thing. Collingwood led by 6 points at quarter time. At half time, it's the Lions by 8, 4-12-36, all singles. Collingwood 4-4-28. Rocker has got 2. Robert Walls, what did you make of that first half?
Well, I think Michael Malthouse would be pretty happy with it because he wanted to close the game down. He wanted to deny Brisbane the ball. They did that particularly well in the first quarter. Not as well in the second quarter, where Brisbane started to get more of it and they sprayed some shots. We see Chris Tarrant
started
there.
well, didn't he?
He did start well. Yeah, he looked dangerous. Chris Scott was on him, and eventually they moved Chris Scott, and Notting went on to Chris Tarrant. But I think there are some signs there that Brisbane are coming right back into it. They had 12 shots at goal in that second quarter. Collingwood just the 3.
Ruben Betheris looked very dangerous in the first quarter. He was quieting down a bit in the second, but he is very dangerous, particularly around goal, isn't he?
He is, and we called it early. Chris Johnson didn't pay him the respect that he should have, and he paid the penalty. And Rupert Betheris is one of those players who, you know, he's unobtrusive, but he can cause a bit of damage. Did it in the earlier finals.
Speaking of causing damage, Anthony Rocker is the only multiple goal scorer. That first one was a beauty. It's such a hard angle. He was probably about 55 out when he unloaded.
And the crowd was waiting for it because we'd gone 20-odd minutes without a goal being scored, and that was a long goal from the angle, and he was pumped. So too was the crowd. And there he, that was a relay free downfield, and he was able to put that one through too. So he's made the most of his opportunities.
Burns up against Black. Burns has got 9 disposals. Black, who's got a bit of a knee problem, has got 11. How have you seen that big matchup?
Well, I would think that Simon Black would be a bit disappointed with his first half. Coming off a Brownlow medal season, they've hit him with everything, Collingwood. You can see the tackles there, just ferocious. And Collingwood's tackling in that first quarter was just first rate. But Scotty Burns, he's waited a long time for this to play in a grand final for the Magpies. He's certainly making the most of it.
There's Black finishing off with that fantastic piece of play from Michael Voss. Now, Voss is up against Buckley, the 2 skippers. Voss has got 11, Buckley 14. Who's winning that one?
Well, I would think that Nathan Buckley, he's in front at the moment, and interesting to see the 2 captains go head-to-head. They haven't been on each other for the entire first half, but for most of it, and Nathan Buckley's been prepared to play across the half-back line, and I think that's good too, because with Cloak missing, just means the experience of Buckley back there helps the other defenders.
And Buckley is 1 in the rankings. Voss is 7. That's, of course, all the positives take away the negatives.
Yes, and we look at the rankings there. It's Nigel Lappin really came into it in that second quarter. Clark Keating was terrific in the ruck, and Luke Power was moved from the back pocket up forward, finished off with a goal in that second term.
Let's go down to Christy Malthouse. We know the Lions have got some injury problems. How about the Magpies, Christy?
Thanks, Stephen. Well, no, the Magpies don't have any injury worries at the moment, which is good news for them. Very intense when they came off the ground. Dean Laidley grabbed all of the forwards and stood out on the ground with them. He was very animated and had plenty to say to them before they came off the ground. The whole group, as they came up the race before they walked into the room, the most common phrase was, "Let's get back to basics, let's start again." Now, on the wall in the Collingwood rooms, they have 2 quotes, and together they basically say, "The one with the greater courage will win, and in the heart is where the battle will be decided." And no doubt they'll be looking hard at those quotes probably at halftime now before they run back out into the field. Stephen.
Thanks, Christy. Nick Malthouse obviously looking in that book again.
Yes, yes.
Half-time, it is the Brisbane Lions by 8 over Collingwood. What a thrill it is for the Auskick kids today. They're playing on the MCG on grand final day, an experience they'll never forget. The lights are on at the MCG as we get ready for the second half of the grand final for 2002. Actually, the weather's not too bad now. The ground's dried out. And what a second half we're in for. It ain't pretty, but it's close, and that's what grand finals are all about, Malcolm Blight, as we take a look at a couple of sports writers.
Yes, indeed, in this first quarter, as we watch the Collingwood guys there just come back out onto the ground. And here we are. Here's the Brisbane players. This is what a dominant ruckman can do. Here's Keating belting the ball forward, and here they come. The trio, Ackermanis, Black, and Voss. Didn't quite work out from that time. Here's another one in that first quarter, which does set up Jason Ackermanis. The ball comes out, Clement there. Collingwood players peel off, chase the footy. Perhaps be aware of your opponent. And it ends up with Ackermanis, and he just misses and hits the post. So dangerous football team.
Certainly are, Michael Voss.
Just wonder how Michael Voss is feeling after some really solid clashes.
Yes, and we'll have a look at this one here again. Buckley playing on in number 5. Voss starts to go towards the ball. He's impulsive. He's one of those guys. And as it turns out, he has 1 on 3 there, and he eventually causes the spill. And Simon Black Normally would have given it off to Headland, but had a shot and missed that one. But this is the play of the day, without doubt. Michael Voss, in at the footy, didn't care. Burns was great. That was fantastic play. There's Voss again, sets up the handball, and this time Black made no mistake. And watch Michael Voss after. Bad luck, Scotty. It didn't keep me on the ground long enough. Great play.
And great camera work by the Channel 10 cameraman and sports writer. What a great feature it is. Let's go down to Gerard Whateley with an update on Martin Pike, who went off in that second quarter.
Just limped heavily across the ground quarters. I'd say now his day is certainly over. He had a groin injury that was being treated at quarter time. He came off midway through the second quarter. The feeling was if he wasn't able to start this quarter, he wouldn't be back. So I'd say he won't be back.
Shame for Pike as he was playing great footy. He had 12 disposals and 3 marks for halfway through the second quarter.
Yes, he's been a great player for Brisbane, playing across halfback or the wing or even into the forward line. And Darryl White starting this third quarter on the bench. Keating will start in the ruck. No doubt White will relieve him at some stage.